Welcome to Chapter 7 of the Subaru lineartronic CVT Generation 1 transmission. In this chapter you'll learn about the unit and identification, including parts and updates. My name is Jared Warren. I'll be your host for this course. It's a great day to fix transmissions, so let's get started. The Subaru Gen 1 transmission came out in 2009. Gen 2 came out in 2011. But some models still use the generation after 2011. The easiest way to identify what transmission you are working with is by the tag number and the valve body location. The tag number TR690 is a generation 1, and the valve body is underneath the bottom pan of the transmission. The tag number TR580 is generation 2, and the valve body is on top of the transmission. The tag number is right above the starter location. You can see the tag from underneath the hood. There are 6 major differences between the generation 2 and the comparison to the generation 1. One being the forward clutch and the reverse clutch mechanism is is before the pulley in the generation 2. So in the generation 1, the forward and reverse clutch is after the pulley. In generation 2, it is before the pulley. The pulleys are not rotated in park and neutral in a generation 2. They do rotate in a generation 1. In a generation 2, the weight and load directly affect the secondary pulley operation. The forward and reverse clutches can be heard activating until the clutch plates expand from heat in the generation 2. And the valve body assembly is located on top of the transmission in the generation 1 or generation 2, and generation 1 valve body is in the transmission pan below. It is safe to say that generation 1 and generation 2 have no major part interchangeability whatsoever. I would say there's probably the bolts and a few seals and stuff like that may interchange. Hard part wise, there's nothing that interchanges. Here's a picture of the generation 2. You see the transmission has a top pan and the top cover. Underneath the top cover you have the valve body. This is in our generation 2. So if you see this style of unit, you are working on generation 2. Torque converter has been updated for engine lugging or stalling at a stop. Subaru changed the thrust washer to a bearing inside the converter itself. The change took place October 1st, 2013. Here's a picture of the old thrust washer. They replaced this with the thrust bearing. This is a picture from inside the torque converter. In some cases, if the torque converter does not fix the stalling issues, you may have to also change the valve body and relearn the transmission. This will conclude our chapter on unit ID and updates for the Subaru lineartronic CVT Generation 1 transmission. We want to thank you for participating in our virtual training solutions powered by ATRA. Till next time, let's keep fixing transmissions together.